Hi, this is Eric Burnett, Workforce Intelligence and Communications Coordinator for Kentuckiana Works. Today I'm going to be looking at how Louisville has been doing compared to our peer cities, plus Portland, Oregon, and Austin, Texas, over the last 22 years. I've got a chart here that shows each city as a bubble. The y-axis is the total number of people employed in each city's metropolitan statistical area, which is roughly the size of a city's economy. And then the x-axis is the average annual wage for each city adjusted for inflation to 2013 dollars. And then the size of the bubble is the number of jobs added in the following 2 years. So you can see we start here in 1990, so the size of these bubbles here is 1990 to 92 job growth. Minus sign means job losses. So you can see where we start. Some of these cities, Austin, Nashville, Raleigh, are gaining jobs. Some of them, like Charlotte, Richmond, Dayton, are losing jobs. And then some of them are losing a little or gaining a little. Louisville's one of the cities that's gaining a little bit. So you can see Louisville is kind of in the middle of the pack in terms of total number of people employed. And we're kind of towards the back of the pack in terms of wages. Now let's hit play and see what happens. You see all these cities are racing forward in the 1990s, huge job growth, huge wage growth. You can see Austin shooting way out there. Recession at the beginning of the 2000s and then the end of the 2000s, so we have two recessions, and at the end of all that, here's where we stand. Now what happened? We started out, Louisville, in the middle of the pack in terms of total number of people employed, in the back of the pack in terms of wages. It looks like that's kind of still where we are. But if you look at it more closely, you can see there's also something else going on. This group of cities here has separated itself from this group of cities. So now we have two groups of cities. And Louisville is in the group that's being left behind. These cities have had more job growth and more growth in wages than these cities. Let's look back at the beginning, then the end. You can see that separation happening. So let's watch it again and we'll compare two cities, Louisville and Nashville. They start out, you can see, pretty close together. They're about the same size. Nashville's got a little bit more job growth in 1990 to 92. But they're about the same size and they're pretty close on wages. Now, where do they end up? Again, you can see big job growth and wages growth in the 90s. Recession at the beginning of the 2000s. Job growth in the 2000s, followed by a big recession at the end of the 2000s. And now here's where they've ended up. So they started out being about the same size. Now Nashville is much bigger. They started out pretty close on wages. Now Nashville is leaving Louisville behind on wages. There are other similar cities we could compare. So let's do Raleigh and Louisville. Raleigh starts out as a pretty small city in 1990. But over the 90s, they have huge wage growth and job growth. And by the end of the 2000s, they're really catching up. Soon they'll be bigger than Louisville probably. And they have higher wages. Now, on the other hand, we have cities like, let's do a city in this bottom group here. Let's do Memphis. Louisville and Memphis are very similar. So let's watch what they do in the same time period. You can see how similarly they track one another. So they have similar trajectories. The job growth is about the same. The job losses are about the same. Memphis is a little bit ahead of us on wages, but basically Memphis is not getting into this other group, and neither is Louisville. And the question is, how do we get into that other group? So I'm happy to answer any questions. Feel free to give me a call or send me an email. Thank you very much.